It's very overwhelming. When you start realizing how many toxins are around, you're like, man, contaminated bacteria, viruses, pesticides, we eat it every day. It seems overwhelming if we're coming into these thousands and thousands of toxins. Where do I start? Am I doomed? I know I can't avoid them all. Like, what are the big things you tell your patients? Here's where you start. Here's what you eliminate. Here are the labels you read. It's very overwhelming. When you start realizing how many toxins are around, you're like, man, if you can test, that's always going to be the first one because we want to avoid avoidance. That's always like part one. Part two, I have what I call my 4 pillars. So pillar 1 is water. Look at what we need every day for survival. We'll talk about your cosmetics. What do we need every day for survival mode that if you don't get it, you're going to die? Whatever. Getting a very good water filtration system either on your whole house or individually, whether it be one under the sink, one for the bathtub. Making sure you're drinking clean water is always going to be step 1 for me. That's my first pillar. My second pillar is food. We need food to survive. So how do we start incorporating better quality food? Only like less than 10% of Americans or less than 5% actually eat organic. That's very small percentage, which is why we don't see more organic farms. So just because something is organic doesn't mean it's pesticide-free too, which is really unfortunate. I usually encourage people that you can look up and Google and you can find your local farmers markets and talk to farmers and make a report to buy straight locally from them. You can grow your own stuff. But they've done studies where just eating organic for 1 week had decreased someone's pesticide exposure by nearly 50%, which was huge. Things that we eat every day. So we're going to accumulate it. Even though they have a short half-life, pesticides, we eat it every day. Try to leave as much box stuff away. Try to really eat those whole foods as much as you can. Wash your fruits and vegetables in baking soda baths or vinegar baths to really clean off more of that pesticide exposure. We definitely work on products. I just start with like 3 products a week because it's overwhelming when you're like, oh man, I got toothbrushes, toothpaste. Like it's a lot of products that are out there. And they start with like 1 or 2 things that you can look up and find safer alternatives, and then clean air. Nobody realizes that the dust in your home has everything from plastics to heavy metals to molds. We open up our windows to get that fresh air in, then we close the windows and we all go to bed, and that's gas fumes, pesticides, and stuff that's now lingering in your home. And we spend, especially since COVID, so much more time at home. I always say get a really good air filtration system, especially by your bed, to clear out all the toxins so you're breathing cleaner air at night, which definitely helps people with asthma and any type of like sinus allergies. It's usually what I call my 4 pillars to start the detox process. Before you go down the road of detoxing with supplements, this is just getting your whole environment better and cleaner, and you will automatically start feeling a big difference.